It's me, your daddy. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, baby. It's me, your papa. Roberto.
Hey, Bobby. It's me, your daddy, Roberto.
I mean, come on. You got some serious problems.
Oh, ow.
Right.
Laughing hurts.
Why is this a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Miguel's been going through all of his Adam Sandler impressions in here.
You guys ready to boogie?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's rock and roll. Peter always does start off with a big sigh.
Notice for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Like, this is such a burden.
Aren't we gonna
To deliver this news to you once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have failed you once again. Welcome to the It Just Makes Sense podcast. I do feel like this is interesting because we're sitting here in my office. We're back from our rendezvous in Seaside back to the main base camp here in Clackamas, Oregon. And there's this executive desk that I got for free on Facebook Marketplace. So it literally looks like I'm a principal, and now you two are back in my office again.
Once again.
Once
Yes.
again. But for somehow, I'm the one getting punished.
You continue to be the one receiving the punishment.
How does that work if I am the principal who has brought you back in, and I am once again your loser for this week?
Well,
Stop making bad picks.
So yesterday was a terrible day for me. We'll get into that in calling out the nonsense in a little bit. We have our weekend review as well. We're going to do things a little bit differently tonight, and it is because it is time sensitive. Let's just get to the punishment right away. I was the one who had originally suggested this punishment, and now it's coming back to bite me.
yeah, and I think the reason we're kind of turning the card on you is you're the one out of the three of us that's married. You have a child. You have a very settled and confident relationship that's been very long term. So we're gonna have Peter give his ex-girlfriend a call. Now there's a couple outcomes, obviously. So let's say it's the wrong number. It just goes to this number has been disconnected.
Right.
We'll evaluate that. If it goes to voicemail, regardless if it is her voicemail, another person's voicemail, or just like a random you have reached this number, you have to leave a voicemail for them. That's at least 30 seconds?
A minute.
At least a minute.
That's a long time, but yeah,
A
we'll
minute,
go
you
with
can
it.
chop it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And in that minute, you have to promote the podcast.
Again, like this reminds me a little bit of what was happening last week, which was when we were walking a quarter of a mile to the ocean. You don't really internalize it until it's going to happen. So we're just jumping right into this.
This is so exciting.
Oh, man. Okay.
So the other scenario is if she or anyone, for that fact, happens to answer the phone, you have to have a conversation with them, or at least try to have a conversation with them that lasts at least 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay?
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
When's the last time you talked to her?
We haven't spoken since 2012, 2013. So it's been a long time. Oh, man. Like, I am staring down the barrel.
Just
of
rip the
this phone
Band-Aid.
number.
Rip the Band-Aid.
Okay. So, do you think she answers?
I hope she answers.
I have no idea.
There is a pit in my stomach right now.
And I love that this was your idea. And just a little backstory, we've talked to multiple friends about this idea, and everybody's kind of disagreed with Peter that
This is a bad idea.
yeah. And Peter's like, no, I think it'd be so funny. And so we're like, okay, you do it.
I mean, I know what I'm going to say, kind of, but like, okay,
Just let it flow.
it's dialing.
Okay. Shh. Everyone shut up.
Oh my God. Hi, is Cece there?
No, I think you have the wrong number.
I do? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I was just calling. I was giving her a call to let her know about a podcast that I was doing. It's called It Just Makes Sense. It's a gambling podcast. Are you into gambling or no?
No, I'm a minor.
You're a minor. Oh.
Yeah.
How old are you? Are you close to betting?
Well, what age do you have to be to gamble?
18?
Is it 18 or 21?
It's 18. I think in the state of Oregon it's 18.
Oh, I'm 18, so
Oh.
I could.
I'm Peter, by the way. Sorry for the random phone call.
It's alright.
Do you have 10 seconds or this is the most random phone call? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Honestly, you got time.
So, again, like I said, my name is Peter. I host a sports gambling podcast with two of my friends. And I lost this week's episode where every week the person who loses has to do something very uncomfortable. So this week I lost, and I was supposed to call my ex, and I dated this girl for 4.5 years, and I was going to call her and tell her about the podcast, but now I'm talking with you, and you have her old number.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, either way.
All right.
Sorry to bore you.
It's alright.
Have a good night. I'll see you later. Sorry to bother you. Bye. Not interested at all.
So awkward.
Not interested at all. I didn't even really get to do the plug because this person was not into it.
And
It was a really quick pickup is what it was. It was
yeah.
who answered? You hold on. That person was 18 years old and they answered a random ass phone number.
Quick, after
Gen Z, a Gen Zer answered a random phone number and
That
wasn't
was
ready
her.
to talk. That wasn't her.
Are you confident enough in how she sounds?
Yeah, that wasn't her.
Okay.
So is the punishment complete? Is it kind of a dud at this point, or do I try and track down the phone number within this podcast?
What do you think, Miguel?
I don't want to let you off that easy. Because this is already way easier than everything you've done the last 2 weeks.
Okay, so we're gonna follow up on this. I'm gonna send a couple of text messages. We're going to update you as the podcast goes along to see if we have an update. But why don't we go ahead and jump into a weekend review?
Beep, pew, beep, pew. Do you include this music that we make ourselves?
Yeah. Do you even listen to the podcast?
Yeah, but I mean, you play the music. Beep, pew.
Okay, so who do I message?
I don't know.
Message your husband.
Do
Message
I just
her.
send her a message?
Message her.
Facebook.
Yeah, message her.
Okay,
What's
so-
your number?
Send her a voice recording on Facebook.
Can you do that?
Messenger. Yes.
Hold on.
You can do
You can call
that.
her on there. You can call her on Facebook Messenger.
Oh no.
So you don't have to have her number. Just call her on there.
Can you really?
Yeah.
But you're not friends with her.
Oh, it got really real because I was. Okay.
Just do it.
There it goes. Messenger blank. Okay, yeah. Oh fuck.
Is that her?
I mean, it's contacting. It says it's ringing. Hold on.
This is going to be so incredibly awkward.
If she answers.
Yeah, that first phone call was awkward, and it wasn't even her. She's gonna think he's drunk.
There's a pit in my stomach right now.
You got. She's not gonna answer this first one, so you gotta do it again.
I mean, can I leave a message?
End the call.
Call ended.
Put together a voice
Okay.
memo. That
Wing it.
At least 60 seconds.
Okay, and there is a time code here.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Go.
Good
Just
luck.
go.
Good luck,
From the
Pete.
heart.
Good
Don't
luck.
think about it.
You
Just
got
go.
it. You got it. You got
It's
it.
gonna be awkward
Hey,
regardless.
be
Just
confident, charismatic, persuasive, yet not pushy.
hey, it's Peter. I was just giving you a voice memo because we've been calling around. I'm actually hosting a sports gambling podcast right now, and it's a whole thing where we're just asking people to follow us along, kind of a word of mouth type of a thing. Wanted to invite you to listen. It's called It Just Makes Sense on Spotify, and yeah, it would be really great if you would tune in, subscribe, and follow us on social media. So, no, we haven't talked in a long time, but it would be really great. I hope everything is good.
Be sure to comment if you like it.
Yeah, and be sure to comment if you like it. So, hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh my god. That was so painful.
That was really painful.
Oh my god.
What's especially painful is that you guys go, ask her to comment.
I know. I really hope you can't hear that in the recording.
No, you absolutely can, because I can hear it in my headphones.
No, on the phone recording.
It has been sent.
Oh, you're gonna see when she reads it, huh?
Yeah.
It should notify you. Oh man, that hurt me to listen to. Was that 60 seconds long?
It was exactly 60 seconds, and it actually, apparently, I didn't realize this. There was a 60-second time limit, which would have been funny if it cut out right.
I feel like with how that sounded, 55 seconds of it was just you going, "Hey, listen to the podcast and do this and do that." And the last 5 seconds, "I hope you're doing well."
Oh, here's the thing. Again, I'm staring at both of you guys. Wow.
Good.
How do we usually we end on punishment? So this is gonna rattle me for the entire show.
Oh, he's rattled, baby. He's rattled right now.
And I don't know, have we bled into a week in review? Yeah, we have. Okay, so we're...
You're so nervous. You
I'm
kept saying
red.
you ended every sentence with this type of a thing.
Oh, no. I wonder
it's
if
gonna
she'll
be
respond.
fine. It's going to be fine. And what if she does? Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, for sure.
You probably just ruined her marriage. Because she's now thinking, does he want me back?
I mean, it was...
Because I still have feelings for him.
Speaking of phone calls and people that I'm connected with, we've talked about my Aunt Susan who left the comment on the Facebook page. So if you haven't heard that conversation from last week, go ahead and go back to last week. It's towards the beginning of the episode. But Aunt Susan had watched the video, and she gave me a call. But I wanted to share with you guys the voicemail that she left me after she watched my eyebrow getting waxed. Again, if you are new to the podcast, I have now lost 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. It's come down to the wire every week, or was I an outright loser every time? No, it's come down to the
It's
wire.
every week, every Monday.
Okay, so at least I'm in it. I'm not getting absolutely destroyed. But Aunt Susan, who left a crazy message on my Facebook page, she also left me this voicemail. Take a listen.
You fucking asshole.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I had to watch it over again.
Oh, we fucking
I wanna
love Aunt
paint a
Susan.
faint eyebrow on you. And please do not discard of that wax with all that hair on it. Because I want to frame it. I got the perfect frame for it. Oh my
dying.
god. You rock. You rock, big Al. I love you so much. You are so awesome. I might even do an eyebrow just to be on your side. I'll do my right eyebrow. Miguel can do my right eyebrow.
Okay, Aunt Sue, I'll do it.
Stand together in solidarity.
That was sweet. Oh, I fucking love Aunt Sue.
She is just the
She's the
sweetest.
I'm her #1 fan. I love that woman.
So continuing on with our week in review, the Los Angeles Lakers are winners of the 2020 NBA Championship.
World champs.
I know I lost $30. I've got the money right here. I'm going to go ahead and pay up the bet right now.
Braxton handed over.
Here is
I will
10.
mediate. I'll count. I'll mediate the
Okay,
transaction.
Yeah, here you go. Here we now
Let me
have
Better not be 31.
It's in escrow. I thought about that, but then I was like, "There's a coin shortage."
Braxton's writing the pen like we're at Plaid Pantry.
Give them the
Just
money. Don't
looking at-
belabor this point.
It's real.
It's-
It's real,
yeah,
boss.
fuck
Cool.
you guys.
Thanks, Pete. You bet on Jimmy. Don't bet on Jimmy.
Well, and that's the thing is that like when it came down to it, like I couldn't by the sake of it bet against the Heat in any
Yeah.
stretch, right? So I mean, it's like, and I said that I said, you know what, I'm gonna put my money on the Heat tonight, but I think they're gonna get blown out, and that was in the game clinching, and that's exactly what happened.
They were down by 30 in like 5 minutes. Like the first
Yeah,
5
that
minutes.
was the fastest blowout game I've ever seen.
There's a lot of crazy shit that happened after they won the championship. They left Quinn Cook. and he messaged them and said, "Turn around. What kind of shit is this? I win the world champ, I win the championship and I have to walk back."
Quinn Cook on J.R. Smith's Instagram Live messages, "Make a U-turn for one,"
That's pretty funny. Fucking left me.
and then Quinn Cook gotta walk back after I win a fucking ring. What the fuck? They left him. So the Lakers' defeat of the Miami Heat in Game 6 on Sunday night was down 57% from the Toronto Raptors' victory over the Golden State Warriors last year. And one more thing about the Lakers before we move on to the NFL was how do you guys see this? A member of the Lakers front office wasted no time before dancing on the Clippers' grave. So the LA Clippers heading into this year obviously they got Kawhi and they traded for PG.
Playoff P, I think, is what you meant to say.
Correct.
AKA Pandemic P.
Yeah.
So the Clippers spent
Better known as.
The Clippers spent an exorbitant amount of money, social media campaigns, as well as billboards all over LA. If you were in LA, with a tagline of "This is his city," and
With
it
Kawhi.
had- with Kawhi, and with
Yeah,
Paul
Ballmer is a fucking fuck Steve Ballmer.
So this is the quote, and this is from a anonymous Lakers executive. I'll read it. The quote is, "While some of our so-called rivals spent literally hundreds of millions of dollars trying to win media cycles, we kept our heads down and focused on basketball, because the only thing we've ever cared about is winning championships."
Hell yeah. I fucking love that. Whoever that person is, that was such a great line. I don't know if our viewers knew this, but I am a big Laker fan. Ooh, he's a Laker fan. Well, suck it. But that's great. Clippers will always be the little brother. You were never, ever the king of LA, and you will never be the king of LA.
But I do want to talk about that Sunday Night Football game. Did you guys watch at least the end of it?
It was
I
insane.
watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
But that couldn't
I
have worked.
watched every play.
That
Yeah.
couldn't have worked out better for me. How that ended. I
See-
took Seattle money line and I had the under. So when the Vikings were approaching the score, the best thing that could have happened was they kick a field goal and Russell Wilson was going to score a touchdown. Kept it under 50. Was it 58?
54.
I think I put it down at 58
Okay.
and kept it way under, and Seattle wins.
The Seahawks now 5-0 for the first time in franchise history. When they went 4-0, they won the Super Bowl back in 2013.
That future bet's looking
It sure is.
better
looking
and
real
better,
good.
man.
Another guy that you had a futures bet on being Tom Brady, and he had quite the blunder on Thursday Night Football this last week.
Everyone is saying that he knew. I think he was just embarrassed. Do you really
You
think
think so?
you really think Tom
I
Brady
don't know.
that was he knew.
I don't know.
But when has Tom Brady made a mistake
I know.
like that?
That was just like really just odd.
Yeah.
And it was
That's what I mean. I think he was just embarrassed, and he's like, "Wait, does
yes,
that count?
sir.
No.
That counts."
no.
It's interesting. One parallel that people drew was the fact that like how Tom Brady is screaming at people on the sidelines versus how other people have been received on the sidelines screaming at other people. For Tom Brady, it's like, oh, that's so normal, right? Like, oh, like he can say that. Where other guys like look unhinged if they do that type of a thing. But either way, like that doesn't seem like a way that I would feel motivated.
Yeah, and I think it might work a little bit better when you've been on, like with the Patriots, you've been with this team for a decade or
That's a
more.
good point,
You've
yeah.
won all these championships. There is a certain way where you are one of the top dogs, one of the primary leaders of this team. You can get away with that kind of stuff, and everybody says that's fucking Tom Brady.
You don't think he's earned that respect throughout the league, though? That those guys aren't looking at him that way.
I think that with any athlete, especially at a professional level, there's going to be guys on that team who have an ego who are that's just not going to put up with that. Like they haven't played with Tom. That maybe they're veterans at Tampa Bay. Maybe they say you got to work into our way as well. This isn't the Patriots anymore. I think Bruce Arians has been pretty outspoken about how he's been disappointed with Tom in some of these habits that he has. So I think there's a little bit of give and take. Obviously, it's Tom Brady, but we're not in New England anymore. This is Tampa Bay, Florida. That's a whole different ballgame.
Maybe the same old shit that you did and that you got away with for years in New England might get a little tired pretty quickly in a place like Tampa Bay.
Absolutely.
I get that. I definitely get that.
Either way, he let us down. We talked him up. We talked him up pretty.
Yeah, I agree. Did you that Dak Prescott?
Yikes.
That injury.
I didn't see it live, but that looked
That
gnarly.
was
Yeah, I mean, he got Yusuf Nurkic, where just like the leg just like totally.
Yeah. Well, and what was crazy is I usually, especially during the early games when there's 8 at a time or whatever,
Right.
I'll do red zone. And 20 minutes earlier, the Washington football team, I think one of their starting quarterback, I forget who it is, because they took out Dwayne Haskins.
Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
They put in Kyle Allen. He was doing terribly, or he got injured or something. So Alex Smith comes in.
Right, because Haskins was sick. He didn't have COVID or nothing, but he wasn't even at the stadium, so he wasn't dressed or anything. So they went with Alex Smith.
And if you look at Alex Smith's injury
Yeah.
and his leg break right next to the one that happened less than an hour later to Dak Prescott, they are almost identical.
Yeah, it was like a pass the torch type of thing. And like with Alex Smith, like the amount of surgeries that he had to go through, and also to fix infection and to when it came to like
They were
saving
talking
his
amputation
leg. Yeah.
at one point.
Like, and that's just like no joke.
Yeah.
Not to like talk it up, like it was serious.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I thought of when I saw the Dak Prescott injury was thinking about how they hadn't come to a terms on a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that probably went through everyone's mind, and maybe even Dak's at that moment.
Well, one of the first tweets that came out was from Des Bryant. Did you see that?
I didn't know.
I didn't.
He said it was addressing Jerry Jones and another Jones. I forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah, his son.
Steve.
Yeah, Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, Steven Jones and Jerry Jones, you guys better take care of Dak if he's never able to play again.
Well, and that's definitely one of those injuries where it's like, you're never going to play the same. Like when you're taking, you're on a bootleg and you're running out. Like
a lot of that's mental.
Yeah, a lot of that's mental.
for sure.
Whereas Dak Prescott was, a young, built quarterback that could run and pass, was fairly confident in his running ability. And that's not going to be the same, even if he is able to step on the field again. One other thing that I wanted to touch on in weekend review, that's not as sports related, but I found fucking hilarious.
What's that?
And you sent this over to us, Pete. Professor cancels exam like a little bitch because he got shot and has COVID.
That was pretty wild.
Is the headline.
This has nothing to do with sports, but it was just something that we saw that we were just like, this needs to be on this show.
Oh, goodness. And credit to Chaps at Barstool. He's a funny guy, but...
They were giving the professor shit for his grammar, too.
But it's a tweet from somebody who says, just received this roller coaster of an email from one of my professors. The Remail Eads.
Wait, real quick, do we know what university?
The Remail Eads.
The Remail Eads.
I just said
Braxton
it.
just had a stroke. We're going to take a break, folks.
Now, I was sorry to interrupt, but like, do we know which university?
It's got to be ASU.
Sounds like an ASU guy, a Remail Eads guy.
I'm not sure.
Okay, but sorry, go for it.
But the email reads,
Yes.
Hello all. Unfortunately, I have to reschedule the exam, and I will have to cancel class on Thursday. Against my best wishes, I've been shot, and
What would be your better wishes? Oh, okay, continue. Sorry.
against my best wishes, I have been shot and am being treated in the ER. I also have COVID, and the divorce is getting messy. God. Office hours are still 11 to 12.
Yeah.
If I'm alive, the exam will be moved to Monday of next week. Keep reviewing the text and remember to look over your IDs. Professor Willis.
The only thing that would have made it better is if at the end of that email, keep looking at your IDs. Also, my GoFundMe, please send me some money.
I mean, there's a small part of me that's like, this is definitely fake, but an even bigger part of me doesn't want that to be true.
If you just assume that this shit is real, then I'm really impressed with people of today. Because this shit is not happening 20 years ago when someone gets shot and their first thought is to type up a fucking email.
Is the email their class
Like,
and just let
I'll
them
tell you later what happened to me. No, let me send out an email. Hey, by the way, got shot. Not going to make it to dinner tonight.
Real quick, before we get into calling out the nonsense, I'm going to check and see if my ex has received this message.
Or she calls back and goes, I miss you,
If
Boo
we get a
Bear.
call back, oh my God. Regardless, like if I ever get a call back or response back, this is going to be... Why do you have to bring up the Boo Bear thing, man?
Sorry.
I'm just glad that we have given our listeners at least the ability to not hear me make weird noises as a punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It
was
has been a
it was
fairly
getting weird.
consistent occurrence. Are you saying that these punishments invoke shrieking responses from all humans?
I mean, it might.
No.
Not in this manner. It's a you thing.
It might be a me thing. I might just be a little.
I mean,
bitch.
we can touch you in different ways and see if you make
You
the
want to be
same
touched?
sounds.
Oh no! Let's get into calling out the nonsense. Let's get into calling out the nonsense. We got to get away from this.
Oh, goodness.
Calling out the nonsense.
Calling out the nonsense.
The nonsense.
It's me, your daddy, Roberto.
I know off the top of my head when it comes to calling out the nonsense is that, I mean, again, I went 1-4 on my NFL picks. So you guys can roast me for the Chiefs, and you can roast me especially for my pick on the 49ers over the Dolphins. That sucked.
No. Like, I'll actually back you up on this. No one saw the Niners Dolphins going that way. You said it was almost like we talked you out of the bet because you initially said when we recorded last week that 12.5 was a lot.
It was, yeah.
And then we ended up discussing it, and you talked yourself out
Peer
of.
pressured me.
Well,
peer pressured
you peer pressured yourself,
And you took the spread?
I took
And
this.
he
I
took
ended up.
it. He
taking
wasn't
the
going
rush. I
to.
wasn't gonna
He
do
wasn't
that.
going to.
Yeah. But the thing
That's
is
tough.
that the Chiefs were 11-1 against the spread in their last, obviously 12 games. So then you go, okay, like fuck it, like 12.5, whatever.
Yeah.
But that
You
was
don't
probably
know what you're going to get from Derek Carr and the Raiders. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get a game like that, sometimes you don't.
Jags lost to the Texans.
That is our biggest nonsense. You remember that conversation last
Yep.
week? We said
They ain't got
that
him.
the Texans are going to have a fresh start with a brand new coach, and they fucking won.
It's incredible how much we're correct.
Jockstrap King ain't it.
The Jags now lost 3 straight games to winless teams.
Jesus.
That it is an NFL record, by the way.
You see that New York as a city is 0-10.
They're not doing well, Bob.
Check in on the New York football teams. I will allow you a minute to talk about the Cleveland Browns and go.
Last week?
Yeah. Now 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was definitely a defining game. I think their defense did pretty well. I think they had a good lead. They let it go a little bit, but they obviously showed that they can finish and show up when they need to. I really think that, I mean, and I'll get into it later with our picks, but if they win this next game against the Steelers, I mean, the Browns are no joke, and people are going to continue to look at them like the little brother, but they are no joke.
Listen, I know that Browns fans have been like stymied again for so many years, and
We've
now
been beaten and battered.
Whoa.
Stymied does not do the trick.
Browns fans are coming out of the woodwork, and they are annoying.
Well, it kind of ties into like that one story with Odell with his tattoo,
Right.
where the stars are aligning. It's like this is clearly a team who's experiencing regular season wins, and holy shit, they are coming out of the bushes and going, "Look at us! Wait till we win the Super Bowl, and then they'll fucking lose a wild card game, and then be done." That's exactly what's gonna fucking happen.
I'm glad that you brought up that story because this is what Odell had said.
Stars are aligning.
Yeah, he
Jesus.
got a tattoo apparently, and this is what he told the Akron Beacon Journal. This is his quote. "I have a tattoo that has a barcode, and it says, in this order, 2,120. And it really stood for 2,000 yards, 100 receptions, and 20 touchdowns," Beckham said on CBS. "But it starts and ends with 20 and 20. And I had been talking about 2020 for so long. It's just like all the stars have aligned." And God, is he full of shit.
Isn't it poetic?
Don't bring poetry back into this.
What's the record? What are they?
Don't you dare.
What are they? 4-1.
4-1.
You hear shit like that from their own players, and it makes me want to cheer against them so much more. Like, oh, you haven't done anything. The stars are aligning. Okay, let's see if you can actually get there.
Why can't we just have a good thing and everybody be happy?
Because they're doing shit like this, where all of a sudden they say the stars all are aligning on a 4-1
You want to be a
record.
true underdog story? Just win and don't say shit.
Let me go through Odell Beckham Jr.'s stats through 5 games. He has 21 receptions. He has 294 yards, and he has 3 touchdowns. How in the world are the stars aligning on that fucking tattoo?
A lot of games
Points are
left,
coming
Pete.
from the run game.
Yeah,
A lot of games left, Pete.
They're winning, and he's taking credit for it. Yeah, I know. We said we were going to do this for 60 seconds and score 2 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, I can't let this go. You scored 49 points in that game, and you had 2 touchdowns. Congratulations, idiot.
They're a balanced team.
Okay, where to next? All right, so now that we're done with calling out the nonsense, we're going to get into our Just Makes Sense picks.
First game we've got is Pitt versus number 13 Miami. Miami is favored by 10. Miguel, what do you think?
And again, we're picking on the spread. You have to pick the spread on this. Yeah.
All spread
Oh,
picks.
we know, Peter.
Oh,
You were
we
trying.
know.
You were the one trying to
I
pull
am
money line on
saying-
this shit. I want Florida money line.
Saying it for our listeners or anyone listening for the first
What he
time.
said. Oh, these fucks are not gonna see this coming.
Didn't-
Florida money line.
I gotta.
I don't know. Miami Clemson last week was pretty good until Clemson kind of broke off. But the Pittsburgh BC game was really fucking good. That was close.
It was. They both those teams look good.
You sent these games to us, and I I saw both games. I like Pittsburgh plus 10. I think that's my bet.
And I kind of feel like I'm leaning that way, but I want to hear Pete first.
No.
He needs to hear
Also,
you.
I just want to make clear that last week Peter complained that I presented these picks as we're recording, and he never's able to do
We got a
research.
heads up.
So I sent them out at like 2:30 today, and it is clear by his facial expression he is still not researched.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I'll just go with Miami because I know you want to go with Pitt.
Okay, I'm going with Pitt.
This is not fair
This
that
is
you
why-
guys are just...
What do you mean? I
Nah,
have
it is
nothing to
very-
do
It
with
comes
it.
back around. I just
It is
cannot
very
wait.
fair.
It's going to be...
You can't blame your bad picks on us.
Yeah. You make these decisions all on your
Yeah.
own. All right. So next game is number 8 Cincinnati versus Tulsa. This is definitely the closest spread-wise game that's in the top 25. Cincinnati is favored by 3.5. I want to hear from you guys first because I'll be the first to admit I have not watched Cincinnati or Tulsa.
I
at
don't
all.
know shit about either teams. I'm taking Cincinnati minus 3.5.
Well,
Easy.
I looked at some of the scores of previous Tulsa games, and they were fairly close. And with a spread plus 3.5. I mean, I might take it. What do you think, Pete?
Pitt? What do you think, Pitt?
Hey,
What do
Pitt.
you think, Pitt?
Hey, Pittsburgh, a.k.a. Pitt. What do you think?
So the fact that Cincinnati won this game last year, 24-13, I'm going to go with Cincinnati. That's the only reason.
I'm taking Tulsa, you motherfuckers.
This is the best game.
Merry
This-
Christmas, pussy. And then, yeah, this is definitely, this might be the game of the week
Absolutely,
out of
yeah.
the NFL games, too.
I hope we're all split on this one because I am firm, standing ground on my pick, and I will put money on that pick.
Go.
Georgia plus 7 against Bama. I am taking the underdog on this one. There's no fucking way. Georgia's going to cover
What
that.
do you think, Peter?
No, I think that I think Nick Saban is going to son Kirby Smart, and I see Alabama minus 7 on this
No
one.
way. Georgia's too good this year.
Nick Saban has never lost to an assistant coach.
That's correct.
Eat me.
If Georgia loses, they're not losing by more than 7.
Okay,
I'll tell
I'm
you
taking
that.
Georgia now. I'm taking Georgia now.
Nick Saban has never lost to an assistant coach, and that includes Kirby Smart, who is his best assistant.
You want
He's
a
not
side?
losing
You want a
next
side
week.
bet on this?
I don't, because I already lost $30 to you.
Okay, that's fair.
When it comes to this week's picks, we decided once again on the games that we elected not to touch. The Washington football team against the New York Giants. Other games that we're not going to touch include the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. We're all in agreement that the Miami Dolphins will win that game.
Correct.
We're all going to bet on the Sunday night game and the 2 Monday night football games, and then we're going to split the other 9 games between the 3 of us.
Okay, looking up and down, we're going to start with the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles.
I have the Ravens are favored by 8 points against Philadelphia, and total points for over/unders 46.5.
Yeah, currently the Ravens, big favorites in this game, minus 380. That's putting $380 in to get $100 back on the money line. Philadelphia Eagles plus 290.
I think I was assigned pretty easy games. I don't think there's much to think about here. I would definitely take the over 46.5. You're talking about a game where I would be completely comfortable taking the Ravens with the points, minus 8.
Do it.
But even with the lopsided game against the Eagles, who's not doing well, they can put up points.
And
I think the over is an easy bet here.
you'll feel even better because it has been bet down to 45.5.
No, there we go.
Next game on the docket is the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears. Before we get into that pick, did you guys see... So Christian McCaffrey has been injured the last several weeks. He has used that time of recovery to actually purchase himself a $7.5 million mansion. He purchased an 11,595 square foot, 6-bedroom, 7-bath, 2-powder room mansion. It's on 8.5 acres and has a 70,000-gallon pool with a 60-foot infinity edge and lake views. It is the largest property, like residential property transaction in Carolina history. That is an insane house.
And for that reason, Peter is taking the Panthers.
Well, I mean, when we look at this, so both the Panthers...
Great house. Yes, Panthers.
So the Panthers are, for the first time this season, favorites. 2.5-point favorites at minus 145, plus 120 for the Bears. The over-under is 44. Both the Panthers and the Bears 3-2 against the spread this season. The Panthers are top 10 in passing, 11th in rushing. And for the Bears, their 4 wins have come against 1-3 Lions, 0-4 Giants, 0-5 Falcons, and then by 1 point against the 3-2 Buccaneers. 70% of the money right now is on the Panthers money line, and I will go with the Panthers to win this game, and I will do it on the money line.
What's next on the docket?
Ooh.
Tell us.
Next game is the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Give me 5 seconds. This is easy. Lions are going to win. Minus 3.5. And it's going under 54. Next. This is one of those when you see a team or a player that's like doing really bad, or a team that's doing really bad, and you go, they're due. They're due to finally turn that around. Not the Jags. Not this week. This is a battle of a 1-4 team versus a 1-3 team.
You want to make it interesting?
Yeah.
I'll take $20 on the Jags plus 3.5.
Okay.
Boom. The handshake has commenced.
Like I've ever turned down a bet.
Yeah. So the next game on the docket is the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. The Falcons fresh off a... Did the firing happen, right? Did we even talk about that? Or are we a week removed from that?
Falcons? Dan Quinn?
I said within the next week, Dan Quinn will be fired.
Yeah, like
we
didn't
haven't
even talk
addressed
about
it. We haven't addressed it tonight.
I mean,
We haven't.
It just seemed like such a foregone conclusion that we
Yeah,
just
no.
barreled right on past it. Atlanta has covered one spread so far this year. They're 1-4 against the spread. So right now the spread at 3.5 in favor of the home team Vikings, minus 190 for the Vikings, putting $190 in to get $100 back. Plus 155 for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to take the Vikings in this game, and I will actually say over 55 on this.
Ooh.
That's a risky play.
I mean, both the Falcons and the Vikings have scored a ton of points this year.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I mean,
We call you Risk Boy.
I'll go money line on the Vikings and over on the 55. Next.
We haven't gotten to a single one of my picks, so I would love to go. And I would love to start with my Browns, 4-1. We've touched on it already, but boy, does it feel good to be a Browns fan. I don't care about any of the haters out there. The fact that as a Browns fan we have haters is such an incredible thing to even feel. But they're going and playing Pittsburgh. They're playing at Pittsburgh. The Browns haven't won at Heinz Field since, throw out a guess.
1962.
Nice, Bob. 98.
2003.
Okay.
17 years since they've won at Heinz Field. And Big Ben and the Steelers are 4-0 coming into this game. The last 2 times the Steelers went 4-0 to start the season, they won the Super Bowl, similar to the Seahawks in that position. The Browns come into this game with a firepower and an identity that they really haven't ever had. I am concerned about Baker's ribs. The Browns are at plus 3.5 right now. However, if something comes out about his ribs and that those odds drop, I will bet back and still take the Browns against the spread, whatever it is, the night before that game. But I'm also going to take over 51 in this game.
You want to put another 20 on that? I'll take the Steelers minus 3.5.
only with the caveat, if for some reason Baker doesn't play, I get the Saturday night odds.
That's fine.
So if Baker plays, I'll take plus 3.5. If for some reason Baker doesn't play and it goes to like plus 6, I get those odds.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just as kind of a point of reference, so earlier in the show, I messaged my ex-girlfriend. We called her old number, and it turned into an 18-year-old kid who was not amused by
Not at all.
by the bit. I kind of want to listen to it again, so hold on.
Hey, it's Peter. I was just giving you a voice memo because we've been calling around. I'm actually
Oh, hold on. What happened? Let's do it again.
Your phone
hosting
was
a
awkward.
sports gambling podcast right now, and it's a whole thing where
It's a whole thing.
You know, we're just asking people to follow us along, kind of a word of mouth type of a thing. Wanted to invite you to listen. It's called "It Just Makes Sense" on Spotify, and yeah, it would be really great if you would tune in, subscribe,
Type of a thing.
and yeah, and like follow us on social media. So, you know, we haven't talked in a long time.
We haven't talked in a long time.
Yeah, no, it'd be really great.
Yeah,
I hope
it would be really
it's
great.
Good.
Here you were. I told you picked that shit up. Oh, it's stop here. There's 7 more seconds.
Yeah, and be sure to comment if you like it. So, but yeah, hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that was that was tough.
It's fucking cringy.
All right, so another game that had gotten rescheduled is the Denver Broncos versus the New England Patriots. Last week we were unsure if Cam was going to be playing due to COVID, but they had pushed the game a week, so hopefully they'll be playing that during the morning slot on Sunday. New England is favored by 10 points. The last over-under we had was 45.5, but is currently at open. I'm going to stick by my pick that I had last week. My pick was New England minus 10, and I was going to stay away from the over-under there because I feel like it could be an ugly game.
I'll go quick on this one. The Indianapolis Colts against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Colts heavy favorites minus 400, so that's putting $400 in to get $100 back. The Bengals kind of got a wake-up call this last week. They got their ass handed to them. 63% of the money is on the Bengals against the spread. That's not shocking. In 4 of their 5 games, the Bengals have covered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The current spread on this game is 7.5.
Oh, yeah.
So I will take the Bengals to cover, and I will take over 47. Next game on the docket is the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Green Bay is favored by 2.5. The over-under is 54. Green Bay is 4-0 straight up and against the spread this season so far. Only team to do so, while the Bucs are 1-7-2 against the spread in their last 10 home games.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does
That
suck.
sucks.
And obviously we're dipping into some of the Jameis Winston years,
Correct,
but I mean, that sucks. After watching last week's Thursday Night Football game, I lost a lot of confidence in good old Tom Brady. We've been watching this quarterback dominate this game for a good portion of our lives. And for him, just like the camera zoomed in on him, he's holding up the 3, the 4. He's so bamboozled. Miguel seems to think that he was just, trying to...
It was his own coach that's saying that he knew. I think he was just embarrassed for what happened. But either way...
I don't see why that, holding up the 3 and 4 is more embarrassing. I don't know. I don't know. Throwing a bad pass is throwing a bad pass. That happens all the time. Not knowing what down it is in that type of a situation is way more embarrassing, in my opinion.
Game on the line.
Seriously. And you're like that. You're the guy who comes back in these situations.
And you're trying to make excuses like, oh, I thought it was 3rd down.
Yeah, that's... in my opinion, is very embarrassing. And I don't know if I've ever seen Tom do that before. So I personally lost a lot of confidence. This Green Bay team are coming off a bye, and they look very, very good. I don't see Aaron Rodgers slowing down at all. I think that every game is a revenge game with the Packers drafting that Utah State quarterback. So I'm taking Green Bay minus 2.5, and I'll go under 54. So we're getting into our Sunday night and Monday night games here. Sunday night football, this is, I mean, at least for the last couple of years, this has been a pretty important game. Most of the time, these teams play 2 times a year. The LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, the 49ers last week looked like trash. So they come into this game at 3.5-point underdogs. The over-under is 50.5. I don't know. I'm very confident in the Rams. I'll put my pick out first that I'm going to take the Rams money line. But
You're not comfortable taking 3.5?
49ers are 4-0 against the spread as underdogs. That's the only thing that's holding me back. Whereas the Rams are 12-8 against the spread the Rams are 12-8 against the spread as road favorites under McVay.
For me, I would go on the Rams on the money line on this.
I'm taking the Rams minus 3.5.
I'm also going to throw in an under there. I do not think a lot of points are scored in this game.
I'm taking
We're
the
at
under.
47, right?
I had it at 50.5.
50.5.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, 50.5.
I'm looking at that 50.5. That's all Rams.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the under.
I mean, this is going to be a 21-17 type game. So these Monday night games, obviously with the scheduling and how things have worked out, it's a little bit difficult to get over-unders on these. Kansas City is favored by 3.5 points. That's the spread that I found as of Monday night. And I don't know. I think coming off that Raiders loss, I think Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to have a vengeance.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead and take Kansas City minus 3.5.
That's my pick. I think they're going to come out firing, pissed from the previous game.
I would like to see what happens in the Bills game. I think that as of this recording Monday night, I haven't really liked what I've seen. Like, maybe it's from a fantasy perspective because I like Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes from fantasy or whatever. I'm gonna go against this one mainly because they cost me some money this week, and I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one.
Well, let's wrap it up with this last game. Monday night, after that 2:00 game, we've got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are underdogs, plus 2.5. Over-under is 54.5. Obviously, we saw that injury to Dak Prescott, which was gruesome and terrible. Hopefully, he can make some kind of comeback there.
How do they come out? How does Dallas come out in this game?
I mean, they do have Andy Dalton.
They have the best backup in the NFL.
And he did lead that win against the Giants. Obviously, it's the Giants, so it's like, who cares? But I got to take Arizona here. I think I'm so torn. Honestly, I'm so torn because there's a part of me that's like, okay, it's Andy Dalton. He's a good quarterback. He's a starter for many years. They had, like, after a big name like Dak Prescott gets injured like that, there's a little bit more oomph. Let's go win it for Dak.
Like an emotional game coming off of that injury.
And I mean, Arizona's a susceptible team. I don't know. I'm going to stick to what I had written down. I went back and forth on this game. I'm going Arizona money line under 54.5.
I think that I'll take the Cowboys on the spread and I'll pick the over. I honestly think you're not going to miss a lot. Not to say you're not going to miss a lot with Dak Prescott. I think that there's a way that they can sustain offensively.
They do have a great supporting cast. One of the best offensive lines. I mean, if you're going to have a somewhat, I wouldn't even put Andy Dalton at average. I mean, I think he's a little above average, but they have a great line.
He's taking the Bengals to the playoffs, right?
Yes.
And guess what? You've got Zeke.
Yes, and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb.
You still have the line. You still have the O-line.
So I think...
God damn it.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys
regardless
on the spread, and I'm going to take the over.
Vegas is telling you that it's a coin flip. But regardless, I think the easy bet here, I think points will be scored.
Yeah.
I think I'm
really
comfortable taking 54 over 54.5.
Yeah,
I think points will be scored in this game.
Are you going to just take the over under?
No. I'm taking Cardinals money line.
Okay. All right. We'll go down together.
Before we get out of here, I want to get into It Just Might Work. After last week's episode, what we did is Miguel found this three-way soccer parlay, which was incredible odds. And explain this real quick, Miguel. So it was there's 3 games.
Yeah, it was 3 matches. Matches, Peter, not games.
Oh my god. Yeah, matches.
I placed this bet
soccer freaks
a week and a half ago, and it one was Major League Soccer with the Timbers.
Yeah, against LA Galaxy.
Against the Galaxy, which they took care of that last Tuesday.
Correct.
And the other 2 are from the Premier League, where Everton plays Liverpool and Arsenal plays Man City on Saturday.
So the odds on this one were pretty incredible. And I think that it's because, and I'm not familiar with these, but I took the bet with you because you basically said, if this doesn't hit, you'll pay for my loss.
Pretty confident. We're 1 down.
And do you have the odds on this? Because my phone is not currently working.
All I know is I placed a bet for $25, and it's to get like $1,900 back.
Yeah, my bet was only $5, but it's to win over $800.
Yeah, I think that mine was around $10, and it was crazy money. So,
feel free to place the same. I mean, right now you'll be down to 2 picks
but it's still good odds.
It's still good odds, so we can even double down if we wanted to. The odds are plus 8,000. 8116 to be exact.
It feels good to win the first one, and both. So Saturday morning,
the last 2 play.
Yeah. So this Saturday morning, one is at 4:30 in the morning, the other is at 9:30. Where they're going to be really happy or really sad. I mean, it won't be really sad. It's low stakes, but goddamn, we will be so stoked.
These are early ass games. 4:30 in the morning and 9:30 in the morning.
This will make up for so much.
That'll bring me right back to plus money for like the last 6 months.
Well, anyways, we have 2 guys standing up right now.
Prairie dogging.
Apparently, Mexican was on the docket for tonight. It is catching up with everyone. We are going to go. Thanks for joining us. Follow us at official IJMS. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, we appreciate you, folks.
Peace.